No means no, Kawa. Come on. What are you doing? When I say no, I mean no. It means I'm not ready. God damn it. Hey, Vic, what's going on?
Not as much as is apparently going on over there.
Ah. When I say stop, Kawa, it means stop.
Reserve time.
Wow. Yikes.
We're running in it's late. It's amateur hour here at the Beyond the Sun.
Fair enough.
LD's just left the house. He's actually looking at houses, and then that's when everything falls apart. But
Keeps you grounded. Is he your emotional center?
as Hayoka just said, Mum has left the house, so the kids will play and be cheeky. But it's Empire versus Na'Vi, Game 3 decider. It's been a long day of tech labs. A lot of good Dota. Also some good downtime, but mostly good Dota.
Good point blank.
10 seconds remaining.
I think point blank. I was about to say it was Crossfire. No, yeah, good point blank.
5 seconds.
Not my favorite FPS game, but
Not my favorite FPS game.
they also have Counter-Strike Go.
I don't get it.
CS:GO was is at Tech Labs, so
Right.
definitely something that
That's not
someone
LD's favorite FPS.
He doesn't hate it, I don't think.
Really?
No, I mean he's
Okay.
still like a 1.6
Certainly
fanboy.
seems to not like it.
Okay, so Empire versus Na'Vi, we're getting ourselves into the Game 3 draft now. Empire, well, they're going to be on the die side for this final game. Na'Vi, they had the second pick. So Empire first picked the Mad Clockwork. This was actually banned out in the first banning stage by Na'Vi in game number 2, but this time around, Empire are going to make sure they grab it up.
Yeah, there's actually, so 2 heroes picked up here that I think are waning a little bit in popularity. Like Clockwork and Timber have pretty bad win rates this patch overall. So I think a lot of teams are going to stop picking them first or second. But in this case, I think it's okay because Mag is one of the greatest Clockworks. He's 3-0 with it this patch, even though its overall win rate is like 43%.
Wow.
Timber is a hero who got nerfed pretty hard because he used to be able to just chain out of everything, and even if you stun him mid-chain, he still gets out, so he's like unkillable. Now he's very, very, very killable. But Funnick
He's still very
good. Yeah, he's still
say.
strong, but Funnick in particular has an 80% win rate with him post-patch, so...
Yeah. It just feels like offlane here, like the good offlane heroes in general are all so much stronger now with the offlane changes. Like it was one of those weird like little like with the change in the creep equilibrium. It's like okay, it makes there be more viable heroes for the offlane, but it also made the top tier offlane heroes just 10 times better. Your Clockwork, your Timbersaw, these heroes just suddenly become absolute beasts in the offlane.
Yeah, and they take Weaver, a hero that Hvust like I'm not gonna say invented, but at TI3 it was pretty crazy.
Empire are going to go for the silent
wow.
links. This is a pretty decent hero to have against Timbersaw. You get all that extra damage, and even with reactive armor, you go down very fast.
Not just that, it's also really excellent against Weaver. Because if you silence him when he's not stealthed, he's extremely slow, extremely low HP. You can pop that Weaver so fast. It's actually, I think, going to make it much more likely that Hvust actually gets a pretty early BKB on this Weaver.
I guess you could still go for the Lincoln Sphere build, either Lincoln's or BKB into the Desolator, but...
yeah, I don't know. I think BKB is probably... Well, actually, I don't know. Never mind, because Searing Arrows hits BKB now, so...
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, it's... Like, if there's something like a puck in the game, I always like the BKB, because the Lincolns doesn't help against Waning Rift, Dreamcall, and a lot of things, but against like the Clinks here, there's not. I mean, there's Visage who can break the Lincolns, but he's not going to be always. He's not really your initiator in the front lines to set up for the Clinks.
Right.
But
right.
We'll see how Na'Vi look to play this one out. They pick up the Puppy Earthshaker. It looks like here with their 4th pick, so they have the CM Earthshaker. Didn't opt for any of the junglers in the past. They've picked up the Chen, the Enchantress, and this time around they decided it's just going to be an Earthshaker for Puppy.
They got a Crystal Maiden, gods. See, they got a
have good jungler. Maybe, yeah, they could even put Kuroki onto the Earthshaker, and you put Puppy onto your farming Crystal Maiden.
It's interesting. It's two heroes that we typically think of, I think, as Puppy heroes. But yeah, I actually think it probably will be Puppy CM Kuro, yes. But it could be the other way around just as easily.
I would say other way around, but I'm not.
Puppy is a really good
hunt.
Earthshaker. He's been playing it for
I feel like Earthshaker's a much harder hero to put someone on that they're not used to it, whereas CM is like, I mean, even if it is going to be in the jungle, it feels like something that Kuro could much easier adjust to. But
yeah, that's true. That's true. I think you're right. Empire, it's funny they went for the Clinks. I do think it's a thing that we saw in the last game was Empire were doing really well, and then they were just like one gank failed, and they were like a nature's prophet in a Dota Cinema fails video. Like they just panicked. They started spamming smoke and trying to get kills.
Oh, they
Yeah,
pick up
this
the
is so
dazzle.
early
Navi's
mid-game focus.
turn
Like
to
they really
ban.
want to go home and sleep.
Well, this you can only end the game so fast with it. They haven't got that much actual pushing power. Clinks gives you some decent damage, but
They've got good push, I think.
yeah, not like
Yeah.
a straight up early game push though. It's still going to
Yeah,
have
definitely,
to be
definitely.
a
It's
gradual
10
build up. Like
seconds
to their
remaining.
peak is going to be around that like 25 to 30 minute mark.
Yeah, I
5
totally agree. I
seconds
think it's
remaining.
like 20. The Orchid timing is really critical for Clinks. If they can hit Orchid like a solid
Reserve time.
3-4 minutes before Lincoln's would come out, it's gonna be super hard for Navi.
Yeah.
So
10
it's
seconds
really we just
remaining.
gotta watch the Clinks. If he gets really solid farm, Empire could end up being way ahead, and then I think they can
Dire
end the
team
game at
back.
like the 22-minute mark easily.
The
If the Clinks
Urshik is
struggles,
nice to
then
like.
Navi will defend it, though.
The Urshik is going to be there to protect people from these Clinks ganks. So if
Right.
Clinks is trying to gank someone who's Urshik is sitting behind, then he's not going to succeed.
Yeah, I do think
Navi's turn
yeah,
to
I agree.
pick.
The ES pick is really good because of the positioning power. Like he can just fissure from, 4 screens away since the last patch, and suddenly Clinks can't go anywhere.
Well, we're going to see a bounty hunter ban for Empire. So they're somewhat considering maybe that it could be a solo mid Timbersaw for Dendi here when they ban at the bounty hunter.
Dendi Timber is a little bit less impressive overall than Funnick Timber.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons Navi can get away with
10
drafting
seconds
Timber so
remaining.
early is because they have 2 players who can competently play the Timbersaw.
5
It's always great
seconds
to
remaining.
use your first core pick as something that could go either way because it makes it really hard to draft
Reserve
against.
time. 5
Yeah.
seconds
And it's a
remaining.
Dendi Invoker as your last pick.
Dire
Oh, man.
team pick.
All right, I'm sitting
Immediate
up.
slaughter.
I was like slouched. I'm sitting up now.
That suddenly my eyes just brightened up. Like I'm getting a
Yeah.
bit droopy eyed. It's been a good 15,
Yeah,
16
imagine that was
hour
a Dragon
cast.
Knight. You would just fall asleep.
Oh my gosh! Don't talk to me about that. I don't want to hear it. It's a Dendi Invoker. Okay, even if this is like a Quaswex Invoker, which maybe is what you want to do if you're playing like a more defensive against this kind of an Empire lineup. It's great. Quaswex great against Slaughter, pretty good against the Clinks as well. Even if we don't get our Exort Sunstrike build, I'm going to be happy to see this Invoker come out.
This Dazzle Slardar is a strategy that's been enabled by some of the recent changes. We've actually seen quite a few teams start to run this. The combination de-armor effects let you kill people very, 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 very fast. My only concern is, what if they can't find people?
10
As you said, what if the
seconds
Earthshaker
remaining.
fissures and Weaver just scuttles away or Timber chains over it? Your Slardar can't chase. You don't really want your Slardar here to be going blink, although you might actually see him do it anyway.
Well, we're going to
Prepare
get
for
ourselves into
battle.
game number 3. Winner of this one advances to your Tech Labs Grand Finals. $25,000 up for stakes in the 2013 Grand Finals held in Moscow. It's Na'Vi versus Empire. The two favorites coming into this tournament. Na'Vi, of course, the big one. Empire, somewhat underrated team, but definitely the team that most people would be expecting to meet Na'Vi in that Grand Finals. They're both battling out for a spot now. It's a double elimination bracket, and Na'Vi on the Radiant side. We are going to see Havos on the Weaver heading up towards top. Puppy on the Earthshaker. Kuro playing the Crystal Maiden. A possible offensive trialing coming out, leaving Dendi as your solo mid Invoker, his signature hero essentially, and then Funnick finally on your safe lane Timbersaw.
Yep. I'm looking towards Empire. They definitely want to win. Just go home. They feel like they had it in the
Yeah.
first game. The second game slipped away, but
30
they've got a cool
seconds
strategy.
to
We'll see
battle.
how it works out in the top lane, the safe lane. They'll have Van Score on the Dazzle and always want to fly on the Visage. They're supporting Silent, who this game is on Slardar. Then the middle will be Resolution, so he'll be on the mid Clinks against Invoker. Not a common matchup, but we'll see how that works out. And then the bottom lane against Funnick is going to be Mag's Clockwork.
Yeah, the solo mid Clink, something different. We've seen generally Silent playing this, but they pick up the Slaughter for him. At this point, even though Slaughter's in your safe lane, Clinks is still kind of like your one position carry, so to speak. Like, this is just get
Yeah.
Slaughter the safe lane. It's a trial lane versus trial lane at top, and Clinks is going to have a much better time in mid lane in some ways, and Slaughter can just control the mid game with the
Right.
early safe lane farm. Well,
one thing-
assuming they win this trial lane.
Right. I think one of the reasons why the Clinks is mid, and this is actually a very smart move by Empire, is this basically means that Invoker has to invest at least a few points into Exort early. So you said that they might want to do Quaswex Invoker. Not an option when Clinks has these extremely cheap Searing Arrows that give him 30 bonus damage. So we're talking like, if Clinks is shooting for 79 or 80 points of damage, Invoker needs a way to still be able to secure last hits and maybe a couple denies. So he's going to want to go Exort more likely.
Yeah, I think he will go for that Exalt Quas build. He can get the Forward Spirits up to help him as well in the laning stage, but I definitely agree he's going to need multiple points in Exalt. He's already got Sunstrike, and with the offensive tri-lane, definitely makes sense to go for the Exalt build, because that essentially turns this 3v3 lane into a 3v3 +1 when those Sunstrikes can be coming in doing a lot of damage. You've got the CM Earthshaker set up, so hitting those Sunstrikes should be fairly straightforward at times.
Yep, especially with the Shaker. I mean, you can definitely compress the area where the target is likely to be. Yeah. And Dendi is great at aiming Sunstrikes, although we just haven't seen him play Invoker as much lately. I wonder if he's going to go the like new school straight Midas approach.
It was definitely the big favored build for a while, but it seems like I'd say more recently, Invokers haven't been doing that. They want to get, be it the Force up as fast as possible, or even something like the Yules up as fast as possible, because they just need the maximum mobility, and getting a Midas just maybe slows it down a little bit.
I agree, and I think Dendi doesn't strike me as like a Midas Invoker kind of guy, which is why I brought it up. I was like, I hope he doesn't, but...
Well, see how things pan out here. Is the new Invoker, you can of course get 2 spells from the get-go, so he's got Sunstrike as well as Forward Spirit, and this makes his laning stage much stronger, because he can have the Sunstrike to help out the tri-lane while having the Forward Spirit there to help him harass as well as last hit.
Yeah, and Dendi's been doing great so far. He's actually tied with Resolution in this lane, so and the Forge Spirit is going to provide so much harassment that Resolution doesn't have a good answer to.
He's sending it bottom to deny a rune now as well, so this is just like another added tool towards this solo mid Invoker.
The rest of the lanes, I think, are more or less even, with the exception that the top lane is going a little bit better for Na'Vi. Bottom lane is going really well for Mag, but Phonic's going to be doing fine as also. So overall, I'd say Na'Vi, whenever you have Invoker, you just want to not lose the laning phase. And right now, they're slightly winning.
Yeah, the passive laning stage, I think, is pretty good for Na'Vi. Empire at the same time also can do okay with things playing fairly slowly. But I think this Clinks actually may start to struggle in mid lane. He's gone for a fast passing, and
at 6 he's going to get Death Pact, so
if he gets hit by a Sunstrike, he's straight up dead. It's just a matter of whether Dendi looks for, okay, he's not going to go for it now. He does pop the Salve, Dendi not going to be able to cancel this one for now.
Yeah, Resolution's definitely not having a good time. The Basilius will actually, I should say the Akala, will help, because Dendi can honestly push and generate pushing pressure with the Forge Spirit de-armor, and Basilius will work to somewhat counteract that.
Yeah, and he's putting a lot of pressure back on a Dendi who made it. Yeah, he's going to look to use his salve now. So both players using their salves out of HP regen for the time being. Dendi has the Quas, of course. Resolution has the Death Pact once it's level 6. But once we get like your level 5, 6 in Invoker and you have more points in the Quas and the Exort, these Forward Spirits are really going to start to hurt Resolution, it feels like.
Yeah, so far Na'Vi pretty much has an advantage in each lane, particularly top, because the CM just generates so much pressure. Like, yes, Dazzle hasn't decided whether to level the Touch or the Shallow Grave, which means that he's getting the benefit of neither, basically. He's saving it because he knows that, okay, he's 3, so now he can afford to take it. Yeah, okay. But he didn't have any of that harassment that you get from level 1 Poison Touch, which is actually quite good now, because the lane is too scary with the possibility of a Sunstrike coming in also, not to have the option of Shallow Grave.
Well, Haste Rune going to spawn bottom, neither play going for it, but First Blood comes at bottom. Funnick gets the Clockwork there, and not the lane you would have expected to get your First Blood. There's a tri-lane and versus tri-lane at top, and there hasn't been any aggression there yet, but it looks like Crystal Nova being cast. Voss going for some harass here. The Fission not going to land. Grave gets popped preemptively as well. Na'Vi could maybe have this one turned around, and then Kuroki gets stunned. There's a Visage Soul Summon to follow. Kuroki goes down at top. First Blood did go to Na'Vi at bottom. Our Empire done here. They're taking a lot of damage here on Silent, but he's going to get Puppy. There's no more Fissures here. That Fissure missing cost Na'Vi dearly at top.
Wow, yeah, it really did, and that's what Empire needed in a lane that they were otherwise losing, was to pick up some kills and actually get a level or 2.
I don't know about this one, Havas.
Oh no.
Oh, that Shadow Wave hit 2, there's a Grave Chill, and Havas goes down! And another Fissure missing as well. Sunstrike isn't going to land, it doesn't! Na'Vi, what a disaster here! And Dendi's dead. Dendi's dead at mid lane. Oh no. What just happened? Dendi was keeping his eyes on top.
Is what happened.
Xbox happened.
Oh my god. That's... Dazzle's hard to combat math against because he's not a hero that's commonly played, and like it's just hard to calculate whether that wave is gonna make the difference or not.
It wasn't the heal, it was the damage output more than anything.
Right.
Like, it was heal onto 2 heroes and the damage applied twice to Havas.
Exactly. When Slardar gets amped too, if people haven't seen this combo, this is mighty scary. An amped person taking the damage from the shadow waves, because what people might not know if they don't play Dazzle is that everything's physical. It's all
Yeah.
physical. So amp damage is insane with it.
Well, we're going to see what Na'Vi look to do. If they're still committing to this offensive trial up top, despite giving up, what, 3 kills in it?
Dire's bottom
Oh,
tower
Crash
is
coming
under
onto
attack.
Havos here, Slatter. Just going for a bit of harass. He's going to pop the sprint as well, Havos. 3 seconds cooldown on this Shikuchi. He's going to get it back up for the time being, but Klinks has actually rotated up top. His damage output with 4 points in Searing Arrows is ridiculous. Fisher going to
Nice.
catch up to immediately. Shadow Wave gets used. Nicely played from Na'Vi. Good defensive maneuvers there. Resolution coming in with it. I think his Death Pact wasn't actually up there, but the Searing Arrows alone could have caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, it was mainly just really good fissure timing, good frostbite timing, and they prevent. It would have at least been the CM death.
I keep
Meanwhile,
missing these
Funnick,
kills
I
at
think-
bottom lane. Funnick is just getting... I need to keep a closer eye on this game, on this guy, because his Timbersaw is just insane. There is an initiation at top lane. Silent gets caught up. Vangscore as well needs to grave himself, and that may not save him anyways, because Puppy is just waiting for the last hit. We will see a Soul Assumption finish off one, so... They get Havost again, but always want to fly. May pay for this one with his life. He's looking for a Kuroki. He's got another Soul Assumption. He's going to get a double kill at top lane. Absolute bloodbath. He moves on to Kuroki here, but... Oh, sorry, onto Puppy on the Earthshaker, but no mana left. He's going to go home and heal.
Dire's
Already a
bottom
completed
tower is
medallion
under
on your
attack.
Visage.
Yeah.
Sunstrike.
Sunstrike. Nice.
Close, but no cigar.
Always want to fly. What a player. That Sunstrike dodge was really good.
Oh, you, Vic.
No, it was good.
Wasn't a Sunstrike dodge? What? That
Totally was.
He didn't know that. He doesn't know where the Sunstrike's coming.
That's why the dodge was even more pro level.
Okay, okay.
I mean, for what it's worth, though, he staying in that fight was exactly the right call. He got the CM kill solo because he knows. Always Want to Fly is actually a really good Visage too. Like he knows what his mana pool can support and how
Yeah.
much damage is likely
Yeah,
to
he
work.
when
He's
he
4-0
kept
and
fighting there, like if he didn't have mana for another Soul Assumption, you run there. But because he had one more Soul Assumption, he knew he could finish off the Crystal Maiden. And well, Empire. This is like it's 6 kills to 4, but it doesn't feel like either team's really ahead at this point. Na'Vi
Yeah.
are farming slightly, but I actually give Na'Vi a slight edge
Dire's
still, just
bottom
based on their
tower
actual
is under
farm.
attack.
I give Navi an edge because Klinks's Orchid is coming pretty slowly. Because he made 2 rotations. It's kind of like Funnick last game, where the first 2 rotations from the Klinks, he spent a lot of time trying to set them up. Neither of them did anything. So he has 1 kill because he killed Dendi mid, but his Orchid isn't as fast as it could be.
Yeah, that rotation definitely hurt him. And I think the big thing when Na'Vi, where it's obvious Na'Vi have an edge, is looking at bottom lane. Level 9 Funnick Timbersaw. Mag is level 6 on Clockwork. This guy normally plays some beastly Clockwork games, but he's been completely shut down. 3-0 in the new patch. Well, he's definitely not showing his Clockwork prowess here. And now we're going to see rotations coming in. Sunstrike going to follow. They kill up Always Want to Fly. Crystal Maiden in the exchange here. Resolution has rotated in for this one. Meanwhile, the Crush goes down to Funnick. Funnick's taking a lot of damage. Timber chain to the side. He's looking for Resolution. He can't actually get the Grave is there as well. Funnick maybe going to go down. One more Crush will seal the deal. He gets brought down. Havos also caught by this one. Familiar stun number 1. There's a second stun. It's not going to land. The hook shot also misses. That should have been a chain stun onto Havos. I think they didn't realize the stun hit because they didn't have detection there. If they knew the first Familiar stun hits, they would have used the second one faster. But Na'Vi lucky to not lose more there with Havos still managing to survive.
They could have very, very, very easily lost the Weaver. It was only that he was still in Shukachi, so they didn't know the first familiar hit. Otherwise, the second familiar hit would have been real easy, and then it's a free hook shot. Still, all in all, that rotation for Empire, again, it's a lot of time that Klinks is spending for these to not get more than like 1 kill or a handful. He loses a lot of farming time every time that happens. He also reduces the pressure on Dendi's Invoker, who did, by the way, end up getting the Midas. So when you're Exort, you want that Midas a lot more than when you're QW. So
at the same time, like what his rotations have accomplished is just shutting down Havos. Havos has only got treads at 9 minutes. More importantly, though, he's level 5. He is ridiculously under leveled. It's going to have to be Invoker and Timbersaw who spend the next 5-10 minutes creating space for Havos.
For sure. Host is going to be behind. The thing is, because it's Midas Invoker, because Timbersaw has had a great game, or I don't know, I mean, he's dominated Mag in the lane, he got 2 kills. I think it's actually okay to give Host even a lot of room later on in the game, because the Invoker and Timbersaw will be able to carry a lot of freight for a while.
Well, we'll see what Havos looks to do. He does now have that level 6 at this top lane, but if he gets chain stun, he goes down regardless. And Mag, level 7 now. He's going to look for a rotation himself somewhere on the map. He's just seeing it base for the time being. Dendi at mid almost goes down to Resolution. That was a lot of damage output catching Dendi by surprise, it looks like.
It's the Searing Arrows, because it's maxed, is just so crazy these days.
Yeah.
It's costs almost no mana. It does insane damage. Death Pact is going to help you a lot as well. So
It was a 10 damage buff, but it seems to make a big difference for Klinks' early game damage output.
I mean, it's no cooldown, right? So
Yeah.
it's a lot of damage.
Top lane now. It looks like Na'Vi maybe looking to go in Fissure to start things off. Karaki going to follow with a Nova. No Frostbite though. Need to be careful here. Karaki could be in trouble. There's a Poison Touch to slow him down. The Solar Assumption to follow. The Familiars with the minus armor just crush Crystal Maiden. Literally, the Familiar Sun's crushing him. And
this tri-lane strat, like, the only problem with it is that Dazzle is so level dependent, but the actual fundamentals are insane because the D armor goes so well with Visage Familiars, with Dazzle's damage, with everything that they have.
Yeah, Medallion plus amplified damage. If you use that on a hero with poison such, they take a ton here. Dendi now in trouble at mid lane. There's a rotation in from the Visage. He can't get in range for the Grave Chill, but the Soul Assumption will be enough.
Wow. I thought that Dendi was actually going to get away.
Yeah, with the Grave Chill not in range, it looked like, but Soul Assumption much longer range, and Resolution gave him the damage he needed for that.
Yeah, I was about to be like, I thought that he popped out of Invis too early.
Oh,
no.
I looked away. It was top lane. The Familiar's got a kill here. Her Voss went down. I was just about to say, like, Funnick at bottom lane pushed the T1 mid tower, even though it got denied by the Clockwork. He's achieved so much here. Oh, Mag, he misses a hookshot on the CM. That would have been a free kill there as well.
Yeah,
Mag's having a bad day.
Game.
Yeah. Well, not bad day, a bad game.
I think he's tired, honestly. Come on, they've been playing for like a million years. He has missed a bunch of hookshots. He's 0-2-1.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if Na'Vi can get by without Weaver, Empire can definitely get by without Clock.
Yeah, yeah, Clockwork definitely more important for the actual fights and initiations, but Weaver, he's your carry here for Na'Vi. At this point, it's going to be more Dendi having to like start carrying him, but Dendi's going down a lot as well. He's died, what, 2 times here in the middle lane?
Xbox. He's being chased. I think they can catch him.
He's got time left.
Oh, nice.
Dodges the crush here. He goes back into the Visage here. It looks like they're not going to go in anymore for this kill here. They're now kind of sandwiched here. They're going to have to run through the tower. They realize they can't run down river. Funnick's there waiting for them. The Familiars get forced to drop, and Na'Vi managed to dodge a bullet there with a Voss keeping himself alive.
For sure. That was good time-lapse timing. I don't... Silent... You got to aim that crush extremely carefully. He just wasn't able to crush in time. Interesting that he's going for what looks like Vanguard. This will definitely mean that the Weaver can do absolutely nothing to Slardar. My only problem with the Vanguard here is their damage threat is Invoker Timber, neither of whom care 2 hoots for your Vanguard.
Yes. I guess that you can block like forward spirit damage a bit, but...
Sure,
for the
but...
It also negates... I mean, Weaver, her Voss is not really right-clicking much, but ultimately it can deny some of that damage. Uh-oh. Puppy.
Puppy with the low
He may get this
percentage
Fissure off. There's a creep wave there. One more Rocket Flare is going to be needed for this one. Mag's got the extra movement speed, but Puppy going to survive this one for the time being. Rocket Flare is still a long cooldown. Mag going to get caught up by this. Oh, not the Sunstrike. It's Timbersaw who finishes them off. Meanwhile, top tier 1 tower is going down. Empire get themselves a bit of a trade here, but they really thought they were going to get Puppy with... Well, Mag thought it was going to get Puppy.
Mag still can't make anything happen, and the struggle with Clockwork is the more kills you don't get, the farther behind you fall on levels, the less future hookshots matter. Now, in this case, it's not the worst thing because Na'Vi ran an aggressive tri-lane that didn't succeed, so Mag is still ahead on level relative to, you know, the Weaver, the Crystal Maiden, and the Earthshaker, but the Clockwork is going to be a problem if they can't generate kills.
Here's your
and
Orchid
a
timing.
big thing there, too, sorry, was that the cogs contained 1 creep, so he lost half of his battery cell procs. Otherwise, Puppy was dead.
Yeah, he lost a lot of damage as well as that. It also allowed Puppy to, when he got that Fissure off, it was because there was creeps near as well. Resolution going to find Kuroki here. This should be an easy pick-off, but Dendi actually nearby. Has he got anything invoked that's going to help out? Doesn't look like it, but Resolution gets scared. Doesn't actually get the kill there.
He thought the rocket would finish it, actually.
Ooh.
But it didn't. Kuroki lived with a little bit after the rocket flare.
Bit of a misplay there. He definitely feel like he could have got that kill.
Yeah,
maybe going to go for Dendi instead. Does he get this? Oh, Clockwork, nice. Hook shot. This one on mid lane. Funnick going to get caught out. The minus armor allowing him to get that kill so easily.
Oh, Forced.
Silence up, Solar something. They need a bit more damage. A Voss, it's going to be just enough.
Yeah, the Orchid proc was just enough to finish
the Dazzle
it.
also got the kill, I think, with a Poison Touch maybe even. And,
probably a tick of poison, yeah. This is a big problem for Na'Vi. The Orchid, even though it was a little slow, it didn't matter because Host is so behind.
Yeah. Yeah, Na'Vi have all these heroes who are behind. The heroes who are doing well are heroes who get just so... don't actually matter as much. Bankscore now going to grave himself before he actually goes down. Still in a bit of trouble with the cold step on him. Mags now, he's trapped in Puppy, this time alone. He's got the battery assault. Puppy going to go down. Dazzle's still alive as well, and Dendi needs to be careful. Going to get... Ooh, Silence goes onto the Weaver. Her Voss may go down again. The familiar damage is there. Her Voss goes down. Dendi as well in trouble. He gets brought down by the Clinks. Resolution just going ham in the mid lane.
I think Empire might have done it, honestly. That
Bankscore heals
trialing-
himself back up, and they just keep pushing.
Absolutely. There's nothing to stop them here from a continuing push. And Vanscore even lived because Dazzle's really, really hard to focus unless you have chain disables, which they really don't. They don't have chain hard disables that can prevent the Dazzle from using Shallow Grave. They only have one direct stun, which is the Earthshaker. I mean, the Cold Snap is okay too, but...
This is just such a cool strat from Empire. Like, Game 2, they pulled the Abaddon Viper, and they seemed to have something planned, but it didn't really fit together. But this strat, everything about it is just working out perfectly against Navi's lineup.
Yeah, and the other thing this strat does amazingly, besides kill people, is also Roche,
Yep.
because you have the amplified damage. The only
They
thing is
back
their
off
vision
the-
is inferior, so yeah, they can't do it.
They're a bit worried here. Funnick is in the neighborhood. He can always look to come in. He's almost finished off a Bloodstone as well, and that's something where once he gets it, you do not want to be feeding him charges for it.
Wow, I just saw the fight we just did on the stream, and that Shallow Grave was perfectly timed. It was in the instant that he was about to get Sunstruck for the rest of his HP.
He was just like, he got fidgeted up, and he was literally spamming it, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know, it wasn't...
Silent.
Yeah, Silent maybe going to get brought down bottom lane.
It's on
The
the right
Fissure
side.
on the wrong side, but Timbersaw going to cut his way across. The Grave is there as well. Silent going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Havos getting a bit of extra
surprisingly
right
good
clicks off. Needs to be careful. But Link's not really in the neighborhood for the time being. He's still farming in the jungle. He'll look for that BKB, I can only imagine. With a BKB up, he's just going to wreck Na'Vi, I imagine.
Smart of Dendi
Smart
to
of
just
the
go straight for the
Link now,
Force
too.
Staff now, but this Invoker is still just a little bit behind, even with the Midas.
Well, Resolution. Oh, he could have almost stolen the Arcane.
Boots?
Yeah. Immediate
suicide.
suicide.
Yeah.
If he realized what Timbersaw was doing, he could have almost stole whatever the energy
could.
booster.
Could he have stolen the energy boost? Funnick got it so fast. It would have been very hard.
He was very quick with that, but
You
Resolution
run
was
the risk
directly
of
next to
getting
it.
boots but not killing the Timber, which would just be sad.
Yeah, well, I guess the Timbersaw actually just suicides, but immediate respawn because he is so low level. So Na'Vi are looking to come into Roshan here, but they've got to be so fast. With the minus armor, Empire have already taken out Roshan, and it looks like Na'Vi are just too late to show up.
I think it's... Ooh, another
Oh.
mistook. It would have been tough to land that. Well, no, they had
It wasn't
vision
blind,
at Dendi,
yeah.
so never mind.
They had vision, but
He's just
there's the
tired.
full stuff anyways. And it really has been a long day. I mean, not to make excuses for Mag, but these guys, their first game today was at
Make
something like
excuses.
9 in the morning, and it's now like midnight there. So these
Right.
guys have been playing for like 14 hours. Of course, they've only had 2 best of 3s, but it's like you wait around at the event, you're just sitting there watching matches, you get tired all day long.
Yeah, no, waiting is worse, right?
Yeah,
Because
you'd rather be just
you
constantly
lose all
playing.
your adrenaline, like your entire rush like dissipates, and you just can't stay awake or care or do anything. Slara did end up going the blink, by the way. Not surprising at all, I think. Like, it's not an ideal pickup, but it's so good for what Na'Vi are doing.
Well, Havos now in trouble. He gets silence up the mid lane. One Crash is going to find him, and Havos, he's going to go down.
This is what blink lets you do. The Weaver can't escape.
Oh man, Havos and Mag are just both looking out of sorts this game because neither of these two players having a good game at all, and it's really costing Na'Vi more because that's their main carry. As for Empire, they're missing a bit of initiation, but Slardar as well as Clinks are making up for what Clockwork's not providing them.
Absolutely. Now they really don't need the Clockwork now that they have the Slardar blink and everything else set up. So I mean, this is a team that has been playing, even though they just made roster changes, it's now 60% of IC Cup, the second place Starladder Season 6 team.
Yeah, and
So-
a team who's even, I think, beat Na'Vi in the last TECHLABS. I think there wasn't, not the last one of the TECHLABS.
Right. They did at the
I can't remember which
TECHLABS,
TECHLABS, but one TECHLABS IC Cup beat Na'Vi.
like 7 months ago, yeah. They upset Na'Vi in a big way.
And it was the
now
team with
most of that
Mag
team-
and Always Want to Fly as well as
Yep.
whoever else was on that
Resolution
team.
was the
Okay.
captain. Yeah.
All right, well, it's a bit of a deja vu possibly for Na'Vi here with TECHLABS losing to some of these players. Na'Vi, though, there is a loser bracket for them, so...
There is. They're not eliminated by any
Oh,
means.
Havos at mid. Nope. Klink's not going to go for it.
And it's not hopeless for Na'Vi. I mean, they have really heroes that do a ton. The Invoker's going what looks like BKB, so that's pretty smart, I think, against Slardar and Visage, who's been huge this game.
Klink's has a
10-1 and
gem,
6.
by the
Oh
way.
my god.
Who's this?
Always Want to Fly is 10-1 and 6 on Visage. Okay.
Oh, he was getting a lot of kills at
Yeah.
top lane.
He was 4-0 and 1 in the
Yeah.
lane stage, and ever since then he's just been
That-
securing kills with Soul Assumption.
This Aghanim Scepter timing is just scary. I mean, the familiar buff is great and all, but on top of that, you get all these extra stats and survivability. He's sitting on 1600 HP right now. That is just a very tanky, hard to kill Visage. The only way you're killing this guy is with the pure damage from Timbersaw and some Invoker help.
Yeah. I mean, that is the nice thing, is that they have Timber and Invoker, and between Sunstrike and all of Timber's damage, there's nobody that they can't kill per se until you factor in the Dazzle. suddenly the first person you burst down is gonna get shallow grave, guaranteed. They almost
Yeah.
have to focus the dazzle to make sure that doesn't happen.
Na'Vi definitely in a bit of a tough spot right now. Empire have a
Radiant's
lot of
top tower is
options
under
available,
attack.
and the gem is up on Clinks as well, so that helps out a lot against the Weaver, against the Invoker. These heroes can't use their invisors to just help get out of things, and it also just denies Na'Vi a lot of vision here.
Radiant's top tower
They went for the
is
Tower
falling.
9, not going to get. Clinks gets himself even more farm, and that BKB is coming soon. He's picked up the Mithril Hammer. If he even has the Ogre Club, maybe. Yeah, Ogre Club as well in the career. That BKB is only less than 1k gold away for Resolution. Another Tower Gold, and then he's pretty much got it.
Yeah, I have to say this game is watching this game. You can also see why Invoker isn't higher regarded than he is. He is a hero who can do an absolute ton, but he needs so much space. And Empire's entire lineup was built around not any of Navi's heroes any space. So Dendi has only been part of one of their 6 kills. Like
Dazzle?
this is an Invoker who even played by possibly oh no.
They've gone in with a Blink Crush here. They immediately blow up the Weaver. On to the next hero. Actually, Hookshot goes flying through everyone. Catches out Kuroki. The Blade Mail gets popped as well. He really thread the needle there to find the Crystal Maiden. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Slada takes a lot of damage. He's still okay, though. Funnick's come back into this fight, but I don't think he wants to really fight for too much longer, especially with all this minus armor and right-click damage coming out. Empire
Hook's
lose
done
no one.
4
Radiant's
people.
middle tower is under attack.
That's wow. So all of his bad focus are now. Oh, Vanscore's gonna die, I think. No, never mind. They can't chase.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's still okay.
But yeah, so like Invoker, Dendi is maybe the most talented player in the world, and in this game he hasn't been able to do anything
He's
useful.
1 kill.
And this was
no
a 5th pick.
assist.
This was their spoiler surprise pick that should have just straight up
Yeah.
won the game.
This game has been all Funnick. Like Funnick's played an amazing game, beating Mag in that 1v1 matchup as well as just creating a lot of space. He's been constantly split pushing bottom, creating space,
Yes.
but Navi just haven't been able to use that space.
No.
Oh, please, Havas. For the sake of our Twitch chat spam, please stop.
Classic
Oh.
case of swagging the dog here on Navi's side.
Well, BKB now up in the Clinks, and the good news is Havas is level 8. He respawns very quickly.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that is good news. Sure.
I mean, there's always glass half full, half empty to this.
Radiant's middle
Yeah,
tower is
there's
under attack.
every cloud has its silver fast respawn lining. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Empire have almost sealed it. They're very hard to play against right now because Dazzle has his levels. He has good mana regen.
Dire's
Well,
top
now we're going
tower
to see how
is
this
under
tier 2
attack.
tower mid lane being brought down. Funnick wants to go in here and always want to fly. He's pretty tanky here, but taking a lot of damage already to start things off. The Dazzle could always provide assistance. Great Deafening Blast Meteor. The meatball there. The Grave is going to be popped on the Slider. That keeps him alive a bit longer. Meanwhile, Funnick goes Scepter complete on him. They've lost the Visitor. That's a lot of damage for Empire that they don't have anymore. Slider taking a lot. He's in the back lines. Still alive, and Na'Vi have found an opening. They get just 1 kill out of it, though. That's really when you know these guys are just not really getting enough.
Yeah, they did find a kill that was one of the better fights that they've had. Certainly good coordination between Funnick and Dendi, and every fight's going to have to be like that or better. And again, without a Dazzle there, they probably get at least 3, right? At least the Slardar. And instead it just gets stuffed. And Resolution's still hunting. He knows he can't get Funnick though, so he doesn't go.
Yeah, he'll maybe just hope to try catch someone out on their own isolate, and he's already up to 1,500 gold. Visage completes the Aghanim Scepter now, so a bit of extra boost to Empire's team fight now. Having the extra familiar gets him some more lockdown, some more stun, and these, like, the supports from Na'Vi just can offer so little in these fights. It's really all up to Timbersaw and Invoker right now. That's the only way Na'Vi are having standing a chance in any clash.
Completely agree. It has to be. Funnick's already been having a great game. It has to be like 2 notches even greater.
Yeah.
And because Puppy, the Earthshaker has boots. That's a complete inventory of his inventory.
Yes. That's a bit of a worry here. Even the rest of Na'Vi, apart from Funnick and even Dendi is somewhat lacking in items. He's got his 4 stuff. He's now working on a BKB, but once he's got that BKB, he's going to be a lot more durable. But Resolution, going to scout him out. Can he go for this kill here? Dendi's got the 4 stuff. He's going to have to use it to get to the low ground. I don't think this is going to be enough. Dendi going to go down. Funnick rotates in. He's got a gem from Puppy, but not going to even
He played this
matter.
game so well. Even after those first 2 unsuccessful ganks, his positioning and isolating the people that he needs to. He's now 9-0-3, still hasn't died, and it's a Clinks. Clinks is such a squishy little guy, and no issue here.
And he's got, I think, a Crystallis flying out for himself. Yeah,
Yep.
so he gets himself some extra crits, some more damage to go in these fights, and Na'Vi going to be forced back. Roshan respawning fairly soon in the next 3 minutes, but
Right.
Empire seem content just to go for a high ground push right now as it is. They popped the Dazzle ultimate.
Quest is going for BKB, which is smart, but he just won't do any damage.
Blink
Oh,
Crush,
nice
they've
blink.
caught out Funny. He has got Ghost Scepter to maybe get out of this one. The damage not quite there. Resolution going to go back, just focus down the tower. He pops the strafe, right clicks away in this tower. Meanwhile, they are still looking for Funny here. He's getting awfully low, and without Ghost Scepter now, Slider blink back. Played it smart, didn't want to get caught out. Resolution now, he also needs to back away. I think Empire have to get out Puppy Echo Slam, complete whiff.
That was
Oh dear.
yeah. He hit. It wasn't a complete whiff. He had a bunch of creeps going on.
Okay.
But
My
yeah,
mistake.
he hit no heroes with his Echo
He was
Slam.
looking for that Clinks there. He thought he
definitely
could
was.
maybe get the Clinks, and
It wasn't. I don't know. I think it made sense if they had at least been able to get Clinks in. Empire did have to use 2 10-second BKB charges for what ended up being Earthshaker.
I think it was worth it because look how much damage they did to this tier 3 tower.
That's
though.
true. Yeah.
Like that amount of damage definitely justified for Na'Vi. They almost killed the Timbersaw as well. So,
But
well, it
yeah,
wasn't
Funnick's been amazing though. I can't believe he lived. Just really, really great Timber Chain positioning and timing.
and the Crystal Maiden scaring off the Slider who was chasing. But as it is, Funnick is just somehow managing to keep Na'Vi alive in this game. But
Yeah, it really is Funnick, right? Like he is the team basically.
well, Empire can wait for Roshan. Lucky for Na'Vi, it's not going to be respawning immediately. This could have been a much faster Roshan respawn. Then Na'Vi could be in some trouble a lot earlier. But they get a bit of space to work with for the time being.
Yeah. I mean, the issue is still just that Na'Vi are at best playing 4v5 because let's say Weaver is fighting a Slardar. Even assuming he doesn't get stunned at all, he deals 90 damage, reduce that by the 37% block that Slardar has right now, then reduce it by the 20 from the Vanguard block. Okay, your Weaver is doing 26 or so damage per auto attack.
Yeah, Havos is just
Like, look at
really
this. Look at
struggling.
this. He's tickling him.
The Vanguard blocking most of that damage as well. Na'Vi have 3 heroes who aren't even level 10. That is a worry. I think Havos maybe he just hit level 10.
Just
so.
hit 10, so he doesn't even have. It's actually non-trivial because Weaver, the cooldown isn't such a big deal, but the mana kind of is. Like you can't actually freely Shukachi and Swarm because you might fall below your 150 threshold for time lapse.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. You want to get that next point in time lapse as early as possible. And we're going to see Empire just look to take these fights early. There's no Roshan. They say, well, we'll just take this out of tier 2 tower. They know Roshan should be coming up hopefully fairly soon. Vengscore checking it out once more, but this tier 2 tower, I don't think Na'Vi can really defend outer towers right now, at least not without taking a very risky fight. They have got the BKB on Denny's Invoker, but he's not in position to take the fight. And Empire, with
Also,
ease, gets the
BKB,
tier
like,
2.
sure, but
Resolution
will
will still tear you apart.
Yeah, not just that Slardar even, because Amp goes through it. The
Medallion from the Visage and your familiar damage as well, they hurt.
And
even without resolution, Dendi will die in BKB form to like the Slider plus Visage. These 2 heroes can just kill anyone in this game almost, except for the Timbersaw, who has got the Ghost Scepter.
Yeah. Timber looks like he's going Shiva's probably.
Yeah, it seems like a good idea here. I wouldn't at this point. Na'Vi just need all the Ghost Scepters they can get because it's mostly physical damage or right clicks, and this is where like Puppy's farming away. He wants maybe a Blink Dagger, but all your other heroes, your Invoker should be thinking Ghost Scepter at this point as his next item.
Right. Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, Slardar finally, after all the buffs, I think he's situationally pretty legit now. Like, against this Weaver, especially with the Blink, Weaver just has no options to escape from the Slardar at all. He can't go Invis. I mean, post-Lincolns, the Amp is going to pop the Invis. Even pre-Lincolns, you can pop it with somebody else's spells. The Weaver can't get away because between Sprint and Blink, Slardar doesn't care what movement speed you move at. He's still going to stun you.
Well, Empire now ready to go high ground. They've got the Aegis on Clinks, also completed Daedalus. His damage output suddenly getting very, very scary. And the Necrobooks are starting to come out. Dazzle, well, the only Necrobook I think we're going to see. Dazzle's picked up a Necrobook, just level 1. These little things will just die instantly, but it's just a sign of what's to come here. Get a couple more points in that Necrobook, and then suddenly Na'Vi struggle a lot to defend these Raxes. They're going to struggle even without the extra points in Necrobook. Oh, BKB from Slider. He's going to dodge off most of the damage there, and Resolution just going to go to work. The range Rax just so squishy. It gets brought down in no time. Well, Slider just solo kills Puppy with the BKB. Now he's in trouble. The Cold Snap may kill him off. He needs a Grave, but Dazzle not in range for that one. Slider just went in a bit too deep there. Did create space for Resolution at mid, but with Slider down, I think Na'Vi may force back Empire Mag. He's suddenly actually caught up. He's got BKB Blade Mail, but taking a lot of damage there. Needs to be careful. Timber Chain knocked the land, and it looks like Empire.
They've got another Shallow Grave, too, if they really need to. I don't think Na'Vi can pursue this.
Careful. Familiar Suns could cause him some problems. Okay.
He's fine. He only landed one of the... Or maybe 2 stuns, but they were simultaneous.
Nemo mid lane, Farnick now going in, Resolution pops a BKB, Havos is dead. Doesn't have his BKB just yet, and now Timbersaw trapped in a cogs, chains his way out of there.
God,
Getting
Funnick's so good at this
very low.
game. Oh my god. He's gonna get away.
And Mag, now in the mid lane, he gets great at keeping himself alive a bit longer, but Crystal main ultimate from Kuroki. There's your Puppy Earthshaker ultimate, but doesn't do anywhere near enough. Mag is still alive on the sides here. The Forward Spirit can't quite find him. Finally they do. They're gonna get one
still
kill.
has a 1-up, yeah.
Timbersaw, Funnick trying to keep Na'Vi alive a bit longer. He's popped the Ghost Scepter, can suicide using this Bloodstone if he wants to do so, but he's going for the kills. He wants in. Funnick, though, goes down to the Familiar Sunstrike from Dendi just off the mark.
Yeah, okay, that
no.
one he didn't dodge. I admit that was just luck for that Sunstrike.
Oh, and now the melee Rax is going to go down. The buyback from Funnick not going to be enough. Resolution happy to throw away his Aegis for this one. Funnick now 2 stuns, 3 stuns. Havos is there. Resolution just going to start right-clicking away on him. And is he even going to use this Aegis up? That's... yeah.
He
Sure.
will.
Okay. Deng's needs to be careful. He's actually out of mana. May need a TP up, but there's a blink in. There's a crush. Sunstrike from Dendi. This one going to land. Dendi! Invoker. It has not been a good day for him, but he's finally made something happen.
Bye, Weaver.
Got to get excited about something from this guy, but right now this has not been a good Dendi Invoker game, but one Sunstrike finally landing.
Pretty sloppy. Empire losing a lot of people unnecessarily.
Yeah.
They didn't need to die. The Dazzle didn't need to die because you're not going to save the Aegis either way, but it doesn't really matter.
This Clinks just stops for no one.
Just gotta find things to say about this obviously over game, because Clinks is level 20, he's 15 kills, 4 assists.
4k gold suddenly. Funnick at bottom lane. He could just go Scepter there. If the Familiar Suns land though, not going to happen. Familiar Suns on cooldown.
I don't know. Empire played really well, and this was a... I gotta say, I feel like in all 3 games the team with the better draft won, which is always a shame, but this is a very 5th pick friendly meta, because all the heroes are so good, like everybody's gotten buffed so much, that you can just make the perfect counter pick and totally take control of a game if you want to.
It also seems to be the thing where your 5th pick is almost, more often than not, is your solo mid, just because there's so many heroes that fit there, and it's the last thing you'll kind of want to reveal to your opponents, unless you have something.
I just think that the Night Stalker to me was by far the biggest deal in game 1, and then the OD was a brilliant pick in game 2, but then this game the Invoker just... it didn't do what they needed to, and it didn't stop the Clinks in any meaningful way.
Just and looking at this game, imagine if Funnick didn't crush Mag at bottom lane. If bottom lane was like a break-even lane.
I don't want to imagine that game. It sounds really boring.
Well, a lot of action maybe, but this game has been really exciting, even like just based on how well Empire are playing. Like seeing them execute this straight. I think Navi's trialing could have gone a lot better for them. They made some mistakes in the trialing. So I mean, you can talk about bottom lane going better for Empire, but it's also like, what if Navi won the trialing? They have a CM Earthshaker Weaver. They did have the potential to do a lot better there. But that's where Empire, like...
that, like, cost them 3 kills or something?
They missed a couple fish there, but Empire really wanted to make sure they won the trial lane, because they rotated Clinks in at level 7, so they didn't care if Dendi had solo farm for, like, a minute or 2. They made sure they won that top lane.
That's a really good point. They identified, like, what they needed to do to actually get the ball rolling, and that was get Dazzle levels, get Slardar a little farm, and you can actually... I remember at the time, I was like, they're costing themselves a lot of Orchid time, but it didn't matter because they knew, as long as Funnick's...
wow, Hook's not going to catch up 3, the Crush catches out 3 as well. Immediately, Havos is going to drop Kuroki to follow, and now Funnick he's in trouble. He's actually getting stunned up here, needs to Timber Chain out, will do so. Invoker already using a BKB, and with this could be all over for Na'Vi. Nice Meteor Deafening Blast going out and Always Want to Fly, but it's Dendi who goes down. Immediate buyback. Puppy takes a fall as well on the Earthshaker. Resolution with a double kill. Pads his stats a bit more.
The issue here is, with no Weaver, like, as long as you can make sure that Weaver is not a thing, Na'Vi has no sustained damage. They only have really fast burst, and Dazzle's ideally configured.
Well, Havos 0-11, not a good day for him. Even the rest of the Na'Vi team. Dendi ends up just 5-5. Kuroki 2-9. Funnick was the one really good showing from Na'Vi. The rest of the team just did not deliver. Even looking at Puppy's fishes in that top lane, it was just only one person showing up for Na'Vi, it felt like today.
Yeah, it was... I think they... Overall in the series, they weren't hapless, but this game, Empire definitely, with a good strategy, good execution, and at some point, this team might actually start getting invited to events, because they're pretty good.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? But yeah, I feel like even the game Na'Vi lost back in game number 1, they did play fairly decently overall. It was just Empire playing that notch above. But this game around Na'Vi, not their maybe best draft and definitely not their best play, but it's going to be Team Empire in the grand finals. Na'Vi drop down. They're going to play in their loser bracket final tomorrow. Vic, thanks for joining me in a pickle.
Thank you,
here.
guys. This is a great series.
Yeah.
Love these teams.
Well, we'll be back tomorrow with more Tech Labs action, guys. It starts at, I think, 7 a.m. CET for you Europeans. That's going to be Power Rangers up against Virtus Pro. Winner of that will go up against Na'Vi in the loser bracket final, and then your grand final. It's scheduled for 17 CET, but it may end up starting a bit later. It is, of course, a LAN tournament in Russia. They've got other games on the main stage, and this is just a scheduled time for that, so who knows when it will actually be. But Vic, where can people find you if they want to follow you, support you in the future?
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Obviously, this was a game at an odd time because of the delays. So
Yeah.
always happy that we still had a lot of people checking it out. VYKROMOND, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube.com, MySpace, not MySpace, Friendster.
Do you have a Tumblr?
I do not have a Tumblr. That's
Beyond
one
the
that I'm
Summit has a
missing.
Tumblr.
Yeah, I love the BTS Tumblr. It's really good.
Do you actually follow it? Or is that just like
I don't
a
have
sarcastic?
a Tumblr, so I don't follow it in the sense that
Yeah,
I follow it like,
okay.
mechanically.
No,
But I
no,
go to
no.
the site, yeah.
Yeah, whenever I'm on there, I'm really impressed. Like, we just...
No, it's actually the shit, yeah.
Full transparency, LD and myself have nothing to do with the... like, it's an official sanction Beyond the Summit Tumblr, but we don't manage it. We don't really even follow it ourselves.
It's really good. It's like the best parts of
Yeah.
like all the art that goes up on Reddit and stuff. It just gets culled
Yeah.
and it's really good. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
big
legit.
shout out to George, who's one of our contributors who actually puts a lot of time. Well, maybe not into the Tumblr, I mean, but into helping out with Beyond the Summit as a whole. So we've got a Tumblr. Check it out, guys. Who cares about following us on Twitter or Facebook? All that matters is the Beyond the Summit Tumblr.
Yeah. Those are for old people. Does BTS have a Snapchat account
No,
that people
we
can
don't.
Snapchat with?
Problems we don't have. I thought Snapchat was just used for like hookups. Well, not even hookups, but
Well, would that be so bad?
the premise. I mean, it's basically you send pictures that don't get saved. So the only reason you would use that over like actual like picture messaging is because it's
You're so
something-
old. The
something
only
dicey.
reason. There's so many good reasons.
Well, you just send a picture message if you don't want the picture saved. I don't know.
Right. That it is pretty useful for that. That's true.
You want memories.
Right.
Well, I guess.
Anyway, yeah,
anyways.
Empire really good. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.
Yeah. All right. See you, Vic, guys. We're going to be back tomorrow with more action. Vic, thanks, of course, for joining in. Big thanks to Kawa, who's also been up for the entire, 16-hour broadcast. You can follow him on Twitter as well. He used to be twitter.com/firekawa, but he's changed it. He's back to Kawa Dota 2, I believe, on Twitter. Yeah. I didn't get a yes, but it was like a... He groaned. It's late. We're done. See you guys tomorrow.